I'm Joe Manavalan, one of the three co-founders of Licious. We are 11 years old. On July 1st, we'll become 11 years old. We are now 6,500 employees, cover 23 cities. I don't want to talk about the money bit, because always startups is associated with money. Nobody talks about the work behind and how hard we have to, pursue to get success. 2021, that was 5 years ago, we were valued at $1.6 billion. And that was after 6 years of work. One thing I really liked about what the doctor said was that in India, we should make sure that we do not copy what is happening in the West. We should not copy at all. So when we started Licious, there was nobody who was doing this. Nobody even wanted to do. So in the West, for example, if you go to eat a meal in the West, the center of your plate is meat or fish. On the side, you'll have your pasta and your vegetables. In India, it's the other way around. In the center of the plate, it is rice or roti, and on the side, you'll have your vegetables and your meat. So the size of your pie is very small, actually. So I think, and the West is already solved for it. They went frozen. In India, we don't like frozen. For us, frozen means something which is old. Nobody has any clue when this damn thing was made. And we have the live market. You go to the market to buy meat or fish. There was one guy we had interviewed. We asked him, how do you know whether the chicken is sick or not? He said, no, I will make sure that the chicken jumps up before I buy it. This is the sort of imaginary, you have a lot, the men are the one who go and buy meat or fish every day. It's not the women. The markets are so dirty. I think it's only men who have got the guts to go there and see all the blood and the gore, So somehow the men have twisted the story around that only they know about meat. They know whether the chicken is sick or not, whether the fish was caught yesterday in the sea. They have no clue when the trawler goes out into the sea, it might come back after a month. They have absolutely no clue. And then they look at the eyes and the gills and they'll press the skin and they'll say this fish is fresh. So we come into a market where the lady of the house is the one who's going to cook what this man has bought. And when it comes on the table, if the meat is good, everyone will praise the husband. Oh, today's meat was good. Or today's fish was fresh. Nobody talks about the one who cooks the food, So for us, it's a dilemma. Who is our target person, Is it the woman who's making the food or is it the guy who's going to the market and thumping his chest, So these were the issues that we had in the beginning. So we knew that we are not going to do frozen for sure because that would restrict our market. We can't do this, cutting the chicken and running to somebody's house to deliver. So there was a thought initially when we looked at the butchers, their hygiene levels, and this one was very difficult for us to work with. And we wanted to scale. We wanted to be across the country. We wanted to be in Tier 1, Tier 2, all the cities, So very difficult to control quality in that. So then we decided, let's do this one. So a little bit of my background. I'm feeling quite at home over here because my daddy was in CFTRI way back in 1952. Don't ask me, I have no clue what he was doing in CFTRI because at the end he landed up in NAL next door as an aeronautical scientist. So I'm not sure what he did. But I grew up in a community of science. And so my elder brother is a doctor. I've got uncles, daddy's brothers who are in medical books. And me, way back in 1985, I told my dad that I want to join hotels. So, a gun came out because they just couldn't figure out where I got this idea from. But I stuck to my guns. Whole family full of doctors and engineers and scientists. So in 88, I joined the Oberoi group and I worked with them for 13 years. And then the bug of doing business got into me, I think around 95, 96. So I went to Europe, did my master's in business. I came back. I was in a sabbatical with Oberoi when I went to study. Came back, I told Mr. Oberoi, no, I don't want to work anymore, and I started on my own. So in 2002, I started on a small little place in CMH Road, and then I grew that into a chain of stores. And then in 2015, that was 11 years ago, I met two of the, actually met Abe. Vivek I knew for a long time. Abe is a Kashmiri, eats meat, breakfast, lunch, dinner, sleeps meat, dreams meat. He lives around meat, okay. Vivek is a finance guy. He used to work with a VC called Helion. So three of us got together and we said, let's do this. Let's try this out. So July 1st of 2015, we actually started. And me, because of my science background and that food bit, I really went deep into things before we started. The most important thing was to gain trust from our consumers. So those days, if you go back 11 years, Amazon, you remember? In Amazon, you don't like the size of your shoe or there is a stain on your shirt, they immediately replace. They're building trust. So now what can you do? You can easily order with Amazon. No? You know that if something is wrong, you can give it back. So those are small policies that we also copied to gain trust. But more importantly, we wanted to start building backwards, they call backward integration. And institutions like CFTRI helped us a lot along the way, where we would go and ask them to study specific things, that we wanted to know. Science is very important, very, very important. Otherwise, you can't grow back. And please remember, meat and seafood is a totally disorganized sector. Even now, it's a disorganized sector. So it's very difficult for us to source. So we have to have our quality people at the ground. We are not, like for example, if you take red meat, you have to go to a mandi where an auction is taking place. A farmer will come with his herd. It might be 20 animals, it might be 50 animals. We need 200 animals. So there's no question of price negotiation. Whatever is the market price in the auction, the guy will sell. Okay, and when we look at the herd, how do you know whether the herd is sick or half dead? No clue. So we have veterinarians there on the ground to check. So just imagine the guy over here who's selling the meat. He has not even seen the animal. And he's selling meat to you. So we have huge amount of challenges. Sometimes when it's raining, the farmers don't come. And then you have customers waiting. So you have to have multiple sources. Same thing with fish. Now we have a ban season going on in both the coasts. So where do you get your fish from, So then we go to smaller boats, you go to backwaters where there's no ban. Then you have to pick up the fish from there. So it's extremely complex, our sourcing this one. And on top of that, we built this thing about quality. We have to keep checking every damn step to make sure that the customer does not turn back, Then comes processing plants. So whatever we source has to come into processing plants. We don't slaughter or anything like that. That's done through government certified government slaughtering houses. When it comes to chicken, it goes into big processing plants, and then it comes to us. There again, we have a quality check. How it comes, what the size and everything. Then it comes to our factory, cut, packed, and then sent. I think most probably we might be having the largest cold chain supply chain in India. From the time we get the meat, the temperature is 0 to 4 till the customer's doorstep. So that's a huge cold chain that we have built. I don't think there is anybody else like us who's got that. That is one of our strengths. Processing plants we have in Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Massive ones. The Bangalore one is nearly 2 lakh square foot. So huge amount of investments have gone into the back. So a lot of people seeing our success in 21, 22, they came up. A lot of competition came up. But they could see only our face, the app, the website, the nice photos. Some even copied that. But they couldn't see what was happening behind. What is happening behind is more important than all this makeup that we have done in the front. So all of them collapsed within 6 to 8 months, Right now we don't have any competition. We are just hoping there will be someone, because then the category grows. We also are on our toes, so we are waiting for people to come into the sector to help us also grow. Challenges wise, when it comes to workforce, the butchers, nobody wants to marry a butcher. So very early on, we hired people. First of all, we changed their designation. We call them meat technicians. We taught them the basics of meat. Would take them on field visits so that their knowledge would, expand. Honestly, I don't think they are called butchers anymore. At least the guys who work with us. And you can see a lot of them when they get married. They come to us and they thank us. It is a life which has completely changed for them. So that is something we are very proud of when it comes. Similarly, even our farmers, who we can see face to face, we have actually really helped them out. For example, if you take a shepherd who is literally like a nomad, there is an ecosystem which is thousands of years, it goes back. Where, for example, the farmer finishes his harvest, immediately the shepherd comes with his flock of goats, and then they pull out all the stubs. And then when they crap, that is like fertilizing the field. Then they keep going from field to field. 6 months later, after the next harvest, that same shepherd comes. So meanwhile, if it's a good harvest, the farmer would have invested in 1 or 2 goats with the shepherd. So 6 months later, he can decide whether to liquidate or not. So then the shepherd comes to the mandi to sell. So when we see a shepherd today, we don't see him for another 6 months. So there is no way we can even help him out, They're like nomads. So those are things that are unique to India, unlike if you go to Australia or you go to Europe. Huge farms, 10,000, 15,000 acres with lakhs of animals in them. The shepherd will be gathering his flock in the evening with a helicopter. Here there is no way we can do it, So, yeah, but we can be sure that those animals are not loaded with chemicals and hormones. They're just as natural as you can get. Same thing with our fish. What we catch from the sea is as natural as you can get.